Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Kylie Playground. This is an elimination game. It's actually the losers bracket final. Tapped out in front of the plate. Safe at first base. Braden London, beats it out for a base hit. We're going back to 1951. The two original franchises, East Lynn and West Lynn. Pitches low for a ball to Jackson Story, the center fielder. West Lynn was the team that drew a bye originally in the tournament. There were 5 teams. They lost to Pine Hill in the finals of the winners bracket. They defeated Lynn Shore. And now they're playing East Lynn. East Lynn lost to Wyoming in the first game. They beat Wyoming yesterday. They lost to Wyoming. East Lynn lost to Wyoming in the first game. They dropped down, beat Lynn Shore as Story draws a walk. They beat Shore in the losers bracket. Then they come back and avenge the loss against Wyoming yesterday. It was a bizarre game. It was 1-0 Wyoming at the end of 4. 16 runs in an inning and a half. East Lynn scored 11 of them, and they won the game 11-6. Carlos De La Rosa, the first baseman, is the hitter. 2 on, nobody out. And here goes London. He loves to run. He gets way off the bag. They don't hold him on. When they throw it back to the pitcher, he goes to third. So the double steal puts runners at second and third in for a strike. London is one of those kids, if he plays for your team, you love him, you root him on. If you play against him, you hate him. He's a pain in the neck. Solidly hit into right center field. 2 runs are going to score. De La Rosa is in with a stand-up double, and East Lynn grabs a quick 2-0 lead. Jose Jimenez is the catcher. He was the winning pitcher in yesterday's game. Pops it up. Diving try by the right fielder, but it bounced. It'll be a base hit. Eddie Lewis with a terrific effort. Couldn't pick it off the grass. De La Rosa had a hang at second in case it was caught. So it's 2-1 with nobody out. Jariel Benson. He's the pitcher in today's game. Line to the shortstop. They don't get the double play almost. De La Rosa almost got too far off the bag. Benson hit it right on the nose and lined it to Medina, the shortstop. Gabriel Rojas, the right fielder, is the hitter. Off the catcher wide. The wild pitch will move the runners up. So second and third again for East Lynn. Already leading 2-0. Swing and a miss. Off to catch his glove, not far enough for anybody to go anywhere. That one bounced. Nice stop by the catcher Merriman. Swing and a miss. And that's strike three. 2 away in the top of the first. Wilfredo Perez, the second baseman, will be the hitter. Nice stop again by Merriman, the catcher. Down and away for ball two. Perez is the second baseman for East Lynn. I mentioned these are the two original franchises. 1951, the first year of Little League. It was East Lynn and West Lynn. And the so-called City Series was a Jimmy Fund game under the lights at Frazier Field. Down and away, 3-1. Hit foul off the foot of Perez, and the count goes full. The payoff pitch up and coming. Strike three called. So he gets back-to-back strikeouts to end it, but a single, a walk, and a 2 RBI double by De La Rosa. And East Lynn looking to stay alive and move on to play Pine Hill. The winner plays Pine Hill tomorrow in the finals of the winners bracket. De La Rosa's 2 RBI double gives East Lynn a quick 2-0 advantage. For West Lynn, Janier Rodriguez, the second baseman, will lead off. Batting second and playing left field, Christian Figueroa. The third baseman, Ron Marciano, hits third. Batting cleanup, the shortstop, Armani Medina. Pitching and batting fifth, Jacob Peterson. The catcher, Rowan Merriman, will hit number 6. Batting seventh and playing center field, Victor Contreras. The first baseman, Andy Lee, will bat number 8 and bring up the tail end of the batting order, playing right field. Batting ninth is Eddie Lewis. I didn't do that for East Lynn, but I will do that when they bat in the second inning. So I mentioned West Lynn drew a bye. They got played against Pine Hill and lost, dropped down into the losers bracket. They went against Lynn Shore in the losers bracket and won that one. And they waited while Wyoma and East Lynn played their for the second time. And now they're taking on West Lynn to see who gets the opportunity to play against Pine Hill, stay alive in the tournament. Coach Contreras for West Lynn. Coach Phelps. Eddie Lewis, very good athlete for Lynn Tech. His young son playing right field. Assistant coach for West Lynn. Good friend. Limbert Thomas, who's a neighbor in East Lynn of mine. Father was a very good athlete. is the third baseman for East Lynn. Some name recognition. High and tight for a ball. Janier Rodriguez, the second baseman, leads it off. Bounces. High for a ball. And that's ball 4. So both teams get the leadoff hitter on. Christian Figueroa, the left fielder, will be the hitter. Hit in the right field for a base hit. Hustling to third is Rodriguez. Gabriel Rojas got it back quickly, but Figueroa gets a base hit. And here comes Eastland answering back. First and third, nobody out. Ron Marciano, the third baseman, will be the hitter. Rodriguez, who can run. As soon as the ball was hit, he was at first base. He knew it was a base hit. He just took off and hustled in the third. Popped up, it's going to go foul and out of play. Swing and a miss. As the runner hustles down to second base. Figueroa now at second and third with nobody out. Tying runs in scoring position here in the bottom of the first. Hit foul out of play. Pins and winds and delivers. And hit the bat. He was ducking out of the way. The bat was still up in the air and the ball hit the bat. That saved a wild pitch. That would have gone to the backstop. Probably saved a run. Down and away for a ball. Two nothing. Eastland got two in the top of the inning. Westland trying to answer back. Second and third, nobody out. Goes to the backstop. It bounces right back. Backstop is very close. It's made out of solid wood, so unless it bounces down the first or third base line, you really have no chance of scoring. Usually bounces right back to the catcher. Hit foul again out of play. Marciano hanging around, making Benson throw some pitches, which is important because you limit the number of pitches you can throw.
That microphone on, I need to know right now before you go.
Hit foul again out of play. Chris Warren, Jeff Erb talking to me with somebody else, but I couldn't see anybody. There's nobody there except Chris Warren and Jeff Erb. Oh, I didn't recognize the fire chief who was here. Hit foul again. Marciano was going to wear Benson out. He may use all his pitching up in this one hitter. Swing and a miss. They finally get Marciano out of there. Of course, the fire chief is Mr. Archer, who is popular with most people. I say most people because he's threatened to take me to lunch 87 times and never returns phone calls. Gonna have to get Mayor McGee to give him a raise so he can take me to lunch. Low for a ball. I'm proud to say the fire chief is one of my former players, along with his brother, who is a very good athlete in English, the two of them. I had the privilege of coaching both of them. Chris Warren and Mr. Archer are both here for this game because they're both deeply involved in East Lynn and now Babe Ruth baseball. They were deeply involved in East Lynn Little League. And you'll be hearing about Chris's daughter who will be pitching for Lynn Classical next year's softball. And one bounces to the backstop, thought about, started home, held up, ball didn't go far enough away for Rodriguez. Medina, the shortstop, is the hitter. High and tight for a ball. Ben's a little different than the pitches we've seen. It takes a little bit of time. Slow, deliberate windup. Most of the pitches just caught it and threw it right back to the catcher. And it takes a little bit of time. Off the catcher for ball 4. So the bases are loaded for Jacob Peterson, who's the pitcher. So Eastland jumped out quickly. The first 2 hitters scored after the first 3 hitters reached. First 4 hitters reached. Peterson bore down and got a line at the shortstop and 2 strikeouts to get out of the inning, but it was 2-0. And now Westland trying to come back. A walk, a hit, and a walk sandwiched around a strikeout. And put 3 on with 1 out. Peterson can help himself here. High for a ball. in for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is pitcher against pitcher. Low for a ball. You run into difficulty here. These are not all-star teams. These are the teams that won the league. So pitching is a premium. You get in the losers bracket, you use a lot of pitching in for a strike. And when you have to win, like Eastland played yesterday, both these teams playing today would have to win today, tomorrow, and Monday to win the tournament. And that's considering they already played this week a game or two. And even all-star teams don't have that much pitching. Hit foul. And Peterson stays alive. High and tight for a ball. Had a duck under that one. Benson's got himself in a little bit of a trouble here with 2 walks. Swing and a miss. Gets a big strikeout. Rowan Merriman, the catcher, is the hitter. They leave it up to him. 3 on and 2 outs. 2 big strikeouts. Benson trying to get him out of a difficult situation and hold on to that 2-0 lead. In for a strike. Hit up the middle into center field for a base hit. They got him hooked up. They tag him going to third. The 2-run score. So Merriman gets a big base hit for 2 RBI. Medina tried to go to third and gets thrown out. So we have a dead even inning after Eastland grabs a 2-0 lead. Westland comes back and gets 2 of their own. So right back where we started, dead even. Eastland 2, Westland 2 will lead it off. Takes the pitch for a strike. He's the third baseman. 8-9 and back to the top of the order for Eastland here in the top of the second. Swing and a miss. Both teams get 2 hits. Westland picked up a couple of walks. A walk apiece has scored one of the 2 runs for the teams. But a big 2-out hit by Merriman. Looked like Benson might get out of it, striking out his second in the inning for the second out with the bases loaded. And then Merriman got the base hit up the middle. And luckily for Eastland, they threw the runner out on the base pass trying to go to third. Strike 3 called So a strikeout to start the second inning. Michael Phelps to left field. He's been the catcher through most of this city series. Hit right back to the mound. Easy play for Benson. One pitch, the second out. 2 up, 2 down. Braden London singled and scored the first run of the ball game. Hit foul out of play. Hit to short. Dropped at first base. Medina made the nice play, got it over. The first baseman couldn't handle it. London reaches on the error. You don't want him on the base pass. He's going to keep you awake. Jackson Story drew a walk. Swing and a miss. And there's London again getting off the base, dancing around. If they throw it back to the pitcher, he's on his way to second base. Merriman came out and forced him to go back to first base. Hit back to the mound again. Benson makes his second play in the inning, so the error doesn't hurt. Eastland leaves a base runner. They're down in the second. And Westland will have a chance to get their first win. Their first lead. They'll have 7, 8, and 9 coming up. And Perez, the second baseman, is going to go to left field. Phelps is going to go to second base. Westland's got one sub they have to get in the game. Eastland's got 3. But we're still very early. They need an inning in the field or an at-bat. I think it used to be you had to play an inning or 3 outs and an at-bat. They changed that a little while ago. Just like they changed the third strike. Used to be strike 3 is strike 3. You're automatically out. Now if the catcher doesn't handle it cleanly, they have to throw you out or tag you out. Victor Contreras, the center fielder, is the hitter. Missing inside for a ball. That one bounced to home plate. Again, deliberate by Benson. The 2-0 pitch in for a strike. Some of these players that you're seeing in this throughout this tournament will be playing in the next tournament, which is the Gallant tournament. They'll be played for the second year in Beverly. It's run by Salem, but Salem's field is getting a remodeling job, so they can't play there, and they moved it to Beverly. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Andy Lee, the first baseman, is the hitter. In for a strike. Big puffy white clouds, blue skies. It was very, very humid. Every once in a while there's a little bit of a breeze that picks up, makes it a little bit comfortable here at the ballpark, here at the old Kiley Park. There's a park that refurbished. It used to be down with it back out beyond center field. There's another Little League fence, a Little League field. That used to be a softball diamond. They used to play softball here. I pitched some softball games down at this park. Lynn took over with the help of John Kasayan and Babe Ruth in the city. They did a lot of work on this field, turned it into a very nice little diamond with the playground, the park behind the home dugout on the first base side. In for a strike. Strike 3 called. Two strikeouts in each of the first 2 innings for Benson. Eddie Lewis, the right fielder, is the hitter. Told you, he's the son of one of the coaches. Eddie Lewis, his father was an outstanding basketball player. Hit to short, Lewis fell down. Easy time for London, the shortstop, over to De La Rosa. So 1-2-3 inning. Lewis had no chance of beating that out. He slipped and fell as he hit the ball. So after 2 apiece in the first inning, both teams have quiet in the second inning. We've completed 2 in this losers bracket final of the 2018 City Series. We're dead even. East Lynn 2, West Lynn 2. First pitch to Carlos De La Rosa is in the dirt for a ball. He singled in the 2 runs in the first inning. Gave East Lynn the 2-0 lead before West Lynn tied it in the bottom of the first. So he's 1 for 1 with 2 RBI. And it bounces again. Once again, the winner of this will have to beat Pine Hill twice. They'll play tomorrow. Swing and a miss. Easy road to hoe for Pine Hill. It wasn't their fault. They were scheduled to play Lynn Shore opening game. Lynn Shore couldn't field a team. So Pine Hill only had to play 1 game to get to the winners bracket final. They beat this West Lynn team in the finals of the winners bracket. Up and away for a ball. So for the second time in 3 innings, East Lynn has the leadoff hitter on. This time with a walk. Josh Jimenez got a base hit. Hits it in the air, foul, long run for the first baseman. Good effort by Lee, way down the right field line. The outfielders are playing out in the boondocks. They must think that Ted Williams is up. Chased the pitch, it was way up and in, swung right through it. We mentioned Josh was the starting pitcher in yesterday's game. Had a great effort before he finally reached his 85 pitches. He's now the catcher in this one. Up and away for a ball. Low for a ball. So he was ahead of Jimenez. Now he's got to come in with a pitch. Chop. Nice play by the shortstop. Medina, that was not an easy play. That was an off hop. He had to pick it out of the dirt. He gets the important one, the runner at second. That looked like a base hit going up the middle. Medina went to his left, picked the short hop. The little shovel to the second baseman. Rodriguez for the out. So that could have been trouble. Jeriel Benson, the pitcher, hit it on the nose, lined it right to the shortstop. Hits it into left field for a base hit. So that play by Medina at short is even bigger. Jimenez holds up at second, so first and second with one out for Gabriel Rojas, who struck out swinging his one trip. Hit by the first baseman into right field. That'll be a run. And that was Anthony Ropa pinch hitting for Rojas.
Now batting number 12, Wilfredo Perez.
So Eastland gets the lead back, first and third. Wilfredo Perez was called on strikes his one trip. Swing and a miss. They throw the ball down, and they're going to score on the error. The runner at third wasn't going. They stole second. They don't normally throw it down. They threw it down, and they short hopped it off the shortstop, and that allowed Benson to score. Hit foul out of play. So Eastland's got that two-run cushion back. They got two in the first, didn't score in the second. They get two more here in the third. And they have a runner at second with one out. Hit hard, but foul past third base. So Roper with the big hit, knocked in a run, and then the errant throw, trying to get the runner going to second base, allowed the runner from third to score. That one goes to the backstop, but Roper's not going anywhere. It bounced right back. Getting that little gunshot when it hits the backboard. It's got that little tin sign that says Lynn Shore Little League. It hits that, wakes the neighborhood up. Swing and a miss for strike 3.
Now batting number 15.
2 outs. 4 strikeouts for Benzan. Cassius Aline is the hitter, hitting for Limbert Thomas. In for a strike. In for strike 3. So Eastland answers back with 2 more. The walk side of the inning, but a force out. A big base hit
Pitches for a total of 59. 5-9.
by Roper. And then the throw to second base allowed, when it bounced away, allowed the runner from third to score, so they get 2. They do it with 2 base hits. There was a walk, a couple of strikeouts, 5 strikeouts for Peterson. I think I said Benzan before, but it was Peterson that was pitching. This is Benzan on the mound. Now in the bottom of the 3rd. There was an error that accounted for one of the runs. It wasn't really a double steal. They were going. So Perez is going to went from second base to left field. Now he's at third base. Roper, when it's a hit, he stayed in left field. And Cassius Aline, who went in place of Limbert Thomas, stays in the game in right field. So once again, West Lynn forced to make a comeback. They'll have the top of the order up. Janier Rodriguez, Christian Figueroa, Ron Marciano to face Jariel Benzan, who'll be starting his 3rd inning of work.
Number 3, Janae Rodriguez.
Rodriguez walked and scored. He's made a couple of nice plays at shortstop. Oh, excuse me, second base. Yeah, he throws it behind him. Rodriguez had to skip out of the way. Had to move over towards home plate. Let that one go behind him. Hit foul to the backstop. Evens the count at 1. In for a strike, 1 and 2. to short. It gets away, and he'll scoot into second base. So Rodriguez reaches on the error. He's in scoring position with nobody out.
Number 6, Christian Figueroa.
Christian Figueroa got a base hit his first time up. And scored the run that at that time tied the game up 2-2. So London, the shortstop, made a nice play to throw just a little bit in the dirt. De La Rosa couldn't pick it. And hustling London, Rodriguez, who can run, scoots over to second base. And this is Christian Figueroa. He got a base hit and scored. I'm looking at the wrong part of my score sheet. Christian Sawyer's on the other team. Christian Figueroa got a base hit and scored the second run to tie it up. Nice stop by the catcher Jimenez. Now they're going to come out. Talk to Benson. Four to 2 East Lynn. They traded 2 in the first inning. Both went down in the second. East Lynn got 2 in the top of this third. West Lynn again trying to answer back. Back to baseball as the coach goes back to the dugout. Reaches for that one, hits it out of play. Over the West Lynn dugout. That went off a car that's over there. One of the women who was just watching the game was wondering if it was her car. She's going over to look. You could hear a big thud. Line into right center field for a base hit. That'll score a run. Figueroa, he had a big game in the first game. He had 3 or 4 hits in the first game with a few RBI. He's 2 for 2 here. He gets an RBI. West Lynn cuts it to a run. Go on, Marciano. Struck out swinging his one trip. Hit high in the air to center field. It's going to be in the gap. They hesitated to see if the ball would be caught. The runner at first, Figueroa, waited to see if it would be caught. He only gets to second base. Marciano was almost all the way to second base, had to scoot back to first, so he wouldn't run into the runner at second base. So 2 on, nobody out, tying run in scoring position. Almani Medina drew a walk his first trip.
How are you?
Hit in the air to right center field. 1 hop to the fence. 2 runs are going to score. In with a triple is Medina. Close to hitting the first home run in this tournament.
Number 5, Jacob Peterson.
Short hop to the fence. So West Lynn says, we'll see your 2, we'll raise you 1. They grab a lead here in the third, and they got a runner at third with nobody out. Solid shot by Medina. In for a strike. Jacob Peterson, the pitcher, struck out, swinging his one trip. hit to second base. They'll make the play to first, but the run scores. So Peterson gets an RBI.
Now batting number 1, Ryan Merriman.
So the first 4 have scored in this inning. Ryan Merriman bounced a base hit in the center field, knocking in the 2 runs at the time that tied the game in the bottom of the first. Hits it fouled out of play. Nice play by the pitcher. Little tapper towards first base. Merriman hustled off the mound, helped himself.
Now batting number 7, Joe Beliveau.
Victor Contreras is the hitter. Way up and in. Actually, this is Joe Bollier who's hitting for Contreras. West Lynn using their 1 sub. Swing and a miss. So the error started the inning, but Figueroa an RBI single. Marciano got a base hit, and then the triple by Medina. The ground out by Peterson. And all of a sudden, 4 runs have been scored by West Lynn. And they've grabbed a 6-4 lead. Up and away for a ball. Swung at that pitch, tried to golf and to get tagged out. So they're finally out of the inning, but not before a big 2-run double by Medina, an RBI single by Figueroa. West Lynn puts 4 on the board.
Eastland pitcher Gary Abundant.
They do with 3 base hits. So they matched the 2 that Eastland put up in the first. They double the 2 that Eastland put up in the third. At the end of 3, it's West Lynn 6, Eastland 4. Julius Soto will lead off the 4th inning for East Lynn. Swing and a miss. Hitting for Michael Phelps. Two quick strikes. And that's a quick strike 3. Braden London. The shortstop, he singled and scored, reached on an error. So he's been on base twice. Up and away for a ball. Hit foul to the backstop. Count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike. That one bounced to home plate. Hit foul again, the count evens at 2. Again, this is the 2018 Lynn City Series. Champions of all the 5 leagues playing together. Played here at Kylie Playground, home of Lynn Shore, because Lynn Shore were the defending champions, actually 2-time defending champions. We'll have a new champion for 2018. Hit past third base foul. Strike 3 called. He didn't think so. He got a little talking to by the umpire in yesterday's game when he reacted a couple of times. Now he reacts again. He throws the helmet, throws the bat. He's a feisty little player. He didn't think that was a strike. Jackson Story has walked and scored and bounced to the pitcher. Swing and a miss. Down and in for a ball. Down and in again, 2-1. High for a ball, 3-1. So I think the umpire there's a little noise coming from the Eastland dugout. That's probably London still complaining about the strike. And the umpire just said, that's enough. Count goes full, 3-2 to Story. The payoff pitch, up and coming. Swing and a miss, he strikes out the side. Eight strikeouts in 4 innings for Peterson. So every other inning, Eastland has scored.
16 pitches for a total of 75.
And now they'll try to get Westland out. Westland has scored in every other inning, first and the third. They're batting now in the bottom of the 4th. They'll have 8, 9, and 1. And they still have a little talking to the shortstop. London's trying to say, if I tried to hit that pitch, I would have had a swing on the pitch was in the dirt, and it wasn't that bad a pitch. He still contends that that pitch was not a strike. He's still having a long discussion with his coach. Kind of filed that one away. Andy Lee, Eddie Lewis back to the top of the order. Janier Rodriguez.
Now batting, number 12, Andy Lewis.
Ben Zam will start another inning, his fourth. Lee was a strikeout victim his first trip. In first strike. Lee is the first baseman for West Lynn. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss for strike three. Six strikeouts for Benson.
Now batting, number 8, Eddie.
Eddie Lewis bounced out to the shortstop his one trip. He hit a ball and he had no chance of being out. He slipped and fell on the way to first base. And London had an easy time throwing him out. Down and in for a ball. Missing again, 2-0. Hit right to the shortstop. Almost perfectly placed with London. He was near the second base bag.
Now batting,
So 2 up, 2 down in the fourth. Junior Rodriguez walked and scored. Reached an error and scored. He started the 2 uprising in the first, and he started the 4 uprising in the third. Chases that pitch that was high. Swings right through it for strike one. That one bounced in. Nice stop by the catcher, Jimenez. Way up and in, almost hit him. Christian Figueroa, the on-deck hitter. High for a ball. And it's ball 4. So he almost had his second 1-2-3 inning.
now batting, number 6, Christian Figueroa.
Christian Figueroa has been a story for West Lynn. He had 3 straight hits in the last game. He's got 2 straight hits here. He singled and scored, singled in a run and scored He's accounted for 3 of the 6 runs. Hit foul back.
What do you mean? Me? Oh, I'm walking around. I know. I'm the 4th coach.
Swing and a miss. Diving back at first is Rodriguez. They called him out. He's down. Let's hope he's going to be okay. So he was on dancing around. They picked him off. We're through 4 here in this losers bracket final of the 2018 City Series. Westland leading Eastland 6-4. I just look at some of these kids. They're like actors. I get picked off first. I have to stay down. I'm hurt, you know. And then we'll overlook him, and he jumps up and runs in the dugout. You know, it's like they watch some of these soccer players that flop and bounce all over the place, and you never know whether anybody's hurting anymore. Used to be if they go down, they're hurt. Now you don't. You have to wait and see if they're hurt. Carlos Delarosa will lead off the 5th inning. He has doubled in 2 runs and walked. So he's 1 for 1 with 2 RBI. Ron Marciano was the new pitcher. Peterson, the pitcher, goes to 3rd. Hit foul to the backstop. 1 and 2. If it goes according to Hoyle, Eastland should score in this inning. They scored in the 1st, missed the 2nd, scored in the 3rd, missed the 4th. Drilled into center field for a base hit. Del Rosa's got his 2nd hit. And that allows Eastland to bring the tying run to home plate. Josh Jimenez has singled, reached to the fielder's choice, and scored a run. Hit foul out of play. Hit foul out of play again. Chopped at that one, got a piece and fouled it off. So Peterson went 4 innings, gave up 4 runs. They were earned. 4 base hits, walked 2. Struck out 8. Hits it foul again over into that playground. Actually hit the tree and deflected back from the playground. Hit to the first baseman. Lee makes the play. Solid shot by Jimenez, but Lee made the nice play. So they get the sure out.
Now batting number 9, Dario Benson.
Jeriel Benzen, who's the pitcher right now, they got somebody warming up. He lined out to the shortstop, got a base hit and scored. Wide for a ball. High for a ball. In for a strike. 2 on the count. Pitcher against pitcher here in the top of the 5th. Up and away for a ball. Hit in the left field for a base hit. De La Rosa will hold at third as Figueroa gets it back quickly. So just like that, East Lynn has the tying runs on base with 1 out.
Now batting number 10,
Anthony Roper entered the game. Went in, stayed in the game in left field. He got a big base hit and knocked in a run. So he's 1 for 1 with an RBI. In for a strike. So now with the runner stealing second, the tying runs are in scoring position here in the top of the 5th. Swing and a miss. Hit the second. They throw it away. Roper will reach on the error. So the tying run is at third. The go-ahead run is at first. Limber Thomas is going to run for Perez. Or excuse me, for Roper. Perez is the hitter.
now batting for Eastland, number 12, Ricardo Perez.
He has struck out twice, once called, once swinging. So I told you, every other inning, they were destined. Now they get the tying run. Swing and a miss. Hit foul off the backstop. Roper stays alive. Oh, excuse me, Perez stays alive. Perez started out the second baseman, moved to left field, is now the third baseman. Swing and a miss for strike 3. That's a big strikeout with the tying run at third base.
Limber Thomas.
Limber Thomas is going to re-enter and hit for Cassius Aline. He was called on the strikes his one trip. Aline came in, hit for him, and wound up with a strike. And now we got a confab on the mound. Second and third, 2 outs.
photo pitches for Ben Marciano. Now pitching for Westland, number 4, Amani Medina.
Medina is going to be the new pitcher. Marciano goes back to third. Peterson will be the shortstop. So 2 outs now with runners at second and third. The tying run at third, the go-ahead run at second. So Marciano goes 2/3 of an inning, gives up a run. It was unearned. The error at second would be out of the inning now. Instead now, they got to sweat out second and third. With Limber Thomas the hitter. And now it looks as though it's not going to be. Cassius Lynn is swinging a bat. It was Thomas going up to hit. And it's going to be Aline staying in the game.
Now batting for Eastland, number 15, Cassius Aline.
He hit for Thomas before and struck out. It looked like Thomas, they announced Thomas was coming back. And now Aline's coming back in the game. Low and away for a ball. High for a ball. In for a strike. The pitching has been pretty good. We only had 5 walks total between the two teams. Yesterday in one of the big innings, we had 5 walks in 1 inning. So now we got deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. And Westland leading by 2. And now we go 3-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3.
6 photo pitches for Amani Medina.
So they get 1, they cut it to a run. They leave the tying run at third. They leave the go-ahead run at second. They did it with 2 base hits. The error helped. They wouldn't have scored except for the error. Ten strikeouts by Westland pitching. We'll move into the bottom half of the 5th. And going right down the wire between these 2 original franchises. 1951, there were 2 Little Leagues in the city, Eastland, Westland. And now it's Eastland, Westland battling in the 2018 City Series Championship. Perez is going to go back to right field. Thomas is going to back in the game at third base. And Benzin will start his 5th inning of work. He's getting close to his pitch limit. So Perez was at second base, left field, third base, now back to left field. For West Lynn, it'll be Christian Figueroa, Ron Marciano, Almani Medina in the bottom of the fifth. With West Lynn holding on to a 6-5 lead. That big strikeout ending the fifth was huge for Medina. With second and third, the go-ahead, the tying run at third, the go-ahead run at second. So East Lynn's down to their last 3 outs. They have to shut West Lynn down here and get at least one in the sixth to keep their hopes alive here in the tournament.
Leading off the West Lynn.
They lost the first game to Wyoming. They came back and avenged the loss to Wyoming. West Lynn is trying to get a second shot at Pine Hill. The difference is they would have to beat Pine Hill twice, not just once. But they got to win this one to do it. Christian Figueroa has been the big hitter in the tournament. He's got 2 more hits, 2 singles. He scored a run and knocked in a run. High and tight for a ball. In for a strike. The 1-1 pitch up and coming. High and tight for a ball. Low and away, 3-1. Hit the shot. Nice play by London. They finally get Figueroa out. Hit it well. Shortstop London made a very nice play. Good strong throw, gets him out. Ron Marciano went from third to the mound, back to third. He has struck out, singled, and scored. Check swing. And the third baseman, Lynn Thomas, came charging in because he was going to fake a bunt. So he was all the way in anyway, and he tried to pull the bat back, and he accidentally hit the ball out in front. And Lynn Thomas was in perfect position to throw him out. So 2 up, 2 down. Almani Medina is the difference in the game. The big 4-run inning in the third, he tripled in 2 and then scored on a ground ball by Peterson. And scoring on the ground ball by Peterson, that's the difference in the game right now. That was the 6th run, and they're leading it 6-5. Swing and a miss. Lined in the right field for a base hit. Medina's on for the 3rd time. Extends the 5th inning.
Now batting, number 5,
Jacob Peterson is struck out, grounded out second and first, and that ground out RBI knocked in the run. That's the difference. in for a strike. Medina dancing on first base. Jimenez chasing him back. Two quick strikes. They throw it down, they throw it away, it goes into right field. He's going to keep going. Going to third, they throw it away and he's going to score. He was dancing around first, they try to pick him off. 2 errors on the play. Throw from the catcher gets thrown away. The throw from the right fielder gets thrown away. And that makes that hole a little deeper for East Lynn. The 2 errors on the play. Those are the first errors in the ball game by East Lynn. He drew the throw. He got off a little bit. Jimenez walked out to the pitcher and chased him back and held him there. Next time they decided to throw it down to try and pick him off. They threw it into right field. He hustled all the way to third. They threw the ball over the third baseman's head, and he scores easily. Makes it 7-5. Hit foul again. And now East Lynn's got to score 2 to stay alive. Hit to third. Lambert Thomas with the nice play, his second play in the inning. The error hurt, it would have been out of the inning without a run. West Lynn adds to their lead. They give the pitching a little extra oomph going into the 6th inning. At the end of 5, it's now West Lynn 7, East Lynn 5. Michael Phelps will lead it off.
Number 7, Michael Phelps.
And then back to the top of the order. Medina will start an inning for the first time. He came in relief. Hit in the right field for a base hit. And it off the right fielder, but he gets it back quickly. So Phelps gets a base hit. And that lets East Lynn bring the tying run to home plate. We'll get a pinch runner.
Now batting for East Lynn,
I believe it's Soto at first base running.
number 1, Braden Linden.
For Phelps. I'm not sure what the discussion is behind home plate. They're looking at the catcher, actually. I thought it was just a discussion. I didn't see the catcher involved in it. Merriman somehow, I don't know if the bat coming back or whatever it was, but Merriman got bumped around. They let him catch a couple. So Janier Rodriguez has walked, reached an error, and walked. He's been on 3 times. He's the second baseman. Swing and a miss. Excuse me, this is, if I look at the right sheet, I might get the right name. This is Braden London, who has singled and scored, reached an error, and struck out swinging. Actually, was called on strikes, and that was when he had a little to do with the umpire, and they had to give him a little talking to, and then it carried into the dugout, and they had to have another talking to him again. High for a ball. A walk and a hit.
Number 11, Jackson Story.
Christian Stories walked and scored, bounced to the pitcher, and struck out swinging. Squared like he was going to bunt. The pitch was high. Took it for a ball. Tying runs on base for East Lynn. In for a strike. Gets the bunt down. Foul ball. Almost a perfect bunt. Strike 3 called.
Now batting number 8.
One away.
De La Rosa.
No, DeRosa was perfect. Doubled in 2, walked, singled, and scored. He's accounted for 3 of the 5 runs, and he's a very difficult out. Waves at that pitch. Swing and a miss. Quickly 0-2. Waved at the pitch. It was down the dirt. He can't run. First base is occupied. The hitter is out. But the runners are going to move up. So the tying runs are in scoring position for Josh Jimenez, who was single, reached in a fielder's choice, and hit a solid shot right to the first baseman. In for a strike. West Lynn needs an out. East Lynn needs a base hit. Low, 1-1. And East Lynn's got their cleanup hitter up. He's hit the ball hard 3 times. Swinging and a miss. East Lynn down to their last strike. They need 1 swing of the bat. Medina needs 1 pitch. And we got a timeout. Confab on the mound. Coach talking to the hitter. Wheels turning on both sides. We're down to the nitty-gritty in this one. Top of the 6th. West Lynn leading by 1. The tying run at 3rd. The go-ahead run at 2nd. Actually, it's 7-5. I forgot about the run in the 5th. So the tying runs are on base. It goes to the backstop. The runner's going to score. Now the tying run's 60 feet away. And you got London at third who can fly, so he's going to try and score anything off the catcher or the backstop. He's going to try and score. And I wouldn't bet against him. High and tight for a ball. And London's going to steal home, and he does. He did it again. He got way off the bag. They let him get way off the bag. He ran. He was halfway home. They threw it back to the pitcher. He broke for the plate, and they threw it away. He does it every time he gets on base. And he beat him again, and the game is tied. West Lynn was one strike away from going to the final. East Lynn was down and out. And London manufactures a run. The walk puts him in first. He went to second when the hitter struck out. Went to third when the wild pitch scored the run. And now the strikeout, a pitch too late. They let London steal home. They wind up with two, with one base hit. The walk hurt. 3 strikeouts. And now we didn't think we'd play the bottom of the 6th. But now we're going into the bottom of the 6th, and who knows, maybe beyond, as we're dead even at 7, going into the bottom of the 6th. Rowan Merriman has single knocking in 2 and bounced to the pitcher. Braden London is the reason why East Lynn is going into the bottom of the 6th. He stole home. He's done it through this tournament. He bounces off, he gets halfway between bases, looking to draw a throw. A couple of times they would run him back. They didn't run him back that time. They threw the ball back to the pitcher and they lobbed it back. As they lobbed it back, he broke for the plate and they had no chance knocking him down. And he stole home, tying the game up. Now he's on the mound, trying to shut down West Lynn and give East Lynn a chance into extra innings. 6, 7, and 8 here for West Lynn. And all this does is just add to the pitching numbers. Make it that much more difficult for these teams to take on Pine Hill and beat them twice. Hit foul out of play. 2-1 the count. London, not the biggest guy, certainly by any stretch on the field, but he brings it pretty good. High and tight, 3-1. Merriman trying to get on base, representing the winning run here in the 6th inning. And he walks. So the winning run is at first base.
Now batting number 2, Victor Contreras.
Victor Contreras was a strikeout victim. Hits it off the first baseman's glove. The runner at first couldn't go. He thought the ball was going to be caught, and a nice play by the second baseman getting the force at second. That's a very big play.
Number 12, Andy Lee.
De La Rosa was there, looked like he might have it. The runner had to stay at first base. It went off his glove. That was Phelps, I believe, that made a very nice play. And it wasn't Phelps. It was Julius Soto who went behind first base, got it, and got the ball to Thomas, the shortstop, to get the force at second. Swing and a miss. Lee has struck out twice. Bounces, and the runner at first didn't go. Bounce far enough almost to the Eastland dugout. The runner stayed at first base. And that's strike three.
Now batting,
2 away.
Eddie Lewis.
Eddie Lewis is the hitter. In for a strike. In for a strike again, 0-2. Swing and a miss for strike three. So he gave up the walk. Leaves the runner on. So we played a regulation 6 innings. Nothing to choose between these two original franchises.
13 pitches.
We are absolutely dead even. Eastland 7, Westland 7 as we go into extra innings. Carrier Benson, long time ago, he was the starting pitcher. He singled, lined out, and singled. He also scored a run. He's 2 for 3. Hit the ball hard 3 times and scored a run.
To Westland.
He's leading off the 7th inning. We're into extra innings in this one. And that makes the coaches feel happy because they just use more pitches and more pitch totals. Pine Hill loves it. They're using up pitching. Trying to get to Pine Hill to beat them twice. Pine Hill just sitting back and waiting.
Now batting, number 9, Carrier Benson.
Ryan Merriman is the new pitcher. Chop to third. They get him by a step.
Now batting, number 10,
Nice play by Ron Marciano. That one bounces to home plate. This is Anthony Roper. He has singled, reached on an error. He knocked in a run with his base hit. In for a strike. Eastland led early. Westland took the lead over. Bobbled. And they still throw him out. Nice stretch by Lee at first base. Medina stayed with it. Bobbled it, but stayed with it. And Lee made the nice stretch. So 2 up, 2 down in the 7th.
Now batting number 12, Wilfredo Perez.
Wilfredo Perez has struck out 3 times. Twice swinging, once called. In for a strike. High for a ball. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Missing wide for a ball. Deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Swing and a miss. Second 1-2-3 inning in the game. The first for West Lynn. And now West Lynn has a chance to win it in the bottom of the 7th. Only 6 walks total for the 2 teams. That's pretty good pitching. 14 strikeouts by West Lynn pitching. Eight by East Lynn pitching, so 22 strikeouts in the ball game. And London will start his 2nd inning of work. He'll face the top of the order for West Lynn. Janier Rodriguez, Christian Figueroa, Ron Marciano. The top 4 hitters have scored all 7 runs for West Lynn, and they're hoping they can do it again here. First overtime game in the 2018 City Series. Rodriguez has walked, reached for an error, and walked. He's been on base 3 times. He scored 2 runs. He'll look to get on base to get it started for West Lynn here in the bottom of the 7th. Looked like West Lynn was going to finish it in regulation, leading 7-5. East Lynn comes up with 2 in the top of the 6th. One of them a steal of home by Braden London with 2 outs, and the next pitch was strike 3. So the steal, 1 pitch too late for West Lynn. Swing and a miss. Wide for a ball. London doesn't like the baseball. He wants to change it. we mentioned he's a feisty little player. Yesterday he had a little talking to by the umpire. Today he had a talking to by the umpire. Coach had to calm him down. He gets out in the base pass. We mentioned earlier in the game, at the start of the game actually, if he plays with you, you love him. If you have to play against him, you hate him. High for a ball. Big pitch coming up here. Slices it foul, hit all of that one and drilled it, but got out in front a little too far and pulled it foul. Solid shot by Rodriguez, but pulled it foul. The way he runs, that would have been extra bases. Strike three called. He thought that was down and away. And now he has a little thing to do with the umpire. So the umpire must be doing something right. He's got both teams yelling at him. Christian Figueroa, singled, grounded out. He scored two and knocked in a run. He's been the hitter of the tournament. Hit right back to the mound. London, who's a shortstop when he's not pitching, handles it easily. 2 up, 2 down from Marciano. Struck out, grounded out. In between, he singled and scored. So we're on the verge of going into the 8th inning here at Carly Park. High for a ball. Swing and a miss. Hit high in the air to deep left field. In with a double is Marciano. And the winning run is at second base for Almani Medina, who walked, tripled in 2, singled, scored 2. He's been involved in 4 of the 6. And they don't pitch to him, they put him on. They'll pitch to Jacob Peterson instead. They walk Medina intentionally with first base open. Peterson struck out, grounded out, second to first, getting an RBI. Grounded out third to first. Wide for a ball. Two quick outs, a double and intentional walk extends the inning. Nice stop by Jimenez, the catcher. That keeps the runners at first and second. Chase, that pitcher was way over his head. That was ball 3. That's ball 3. 3-1. And that's That's going to bring a trip out to the mound. I don't know if you heard his hand. He signaled to the dugout. I don't know if something happened with his pitching hand. He was kind of stretching his hand as though something happened to it. Looks like he's okay. They're staying with him. In for a strike. Hit off the shortstop, out in the outfield. The runner's going to score. The game is over. Peterson, the error. That's a hard way to end. They score the run. They get a base hit, a walk, and an error. And in 7 innings, West Lynn outlasts East Lynn. They hit a shot, and that's usually an out. But the ball deflected, and not only deflected out into the outfield. And Marciano was able to come around third and score the winning run. They had the runner hooked up, but they didn't care about the runner hooked up because the winning run had scored. So it'll be West Lynn round 2 taking on Pine Hill. They'll have to beat them twice. But West Lynn survives. East Lynn won't get there. They were looking for 2 in a row after they beat Wyoming yesterday. East Lynn got a jump in the first inning. London singled. Story walked. A big double by De La Rosa was 2-0. West Lynn came back. A walk to Rodriguez. A single by Figueroa. And a 2 RBI single by Merriman tied it at 2. East Lynn took a 2-run lead in the third. A walk to De La Rosa, a fielder's choice, a base hit by Benson, an RBI single by Rojas. They tried to throw the runner out, going to second base. They threw it away. The second run scored. It was 4-2 East Lynn. West Lynn came back and got 4. Rodriguez led the inning, reaching on an error. Figueroa knocked him in with a single. Marciano singled. A big 2 RBI triple by Medina. He scored on a ground ball by Peterson. And that made it 6-4 West Lynn. They added a run in the 5th with 2 outs and a runner at first. They tried to pick the runner off at first base. They threw it away. He went all the way to third. They threw it over the third baseman's head. The second error on the play made it 7-5. East Lynn came back and tied it in the 6th. It was Phelps leading it with a base hit. Soto ran for him. London drew a walk. They both moved up to second and third when on the strikeout. And then with 2 outs, second and third, 2 strikes on the batter, after a wild pitch had brought home Soto with the run, London stole home and tied the game at 7. Sending it into extra innings, it looked like it was going to go into the 8th with 2 outs and nobody on. Marciano got a big double. They walked Medina intentionally, and then Peterson hit a hard shot by the shortstop, off his glove, deflected out in the outfield. Marciano was able to score the run that wins it, and they win it by a score of 8-7 over East Lynn, eliminating East Lynn. And West Lynn will now get a second chance, a second bite of the apple against Pine Hill in the game tomorrow. For East Lynn, London had a base hit, an error, a walk, on base 3 times, scored twice. Story had a walk, scored a run. De La Rosa had 2 hits, a walk, scored 1, knocked in 2. Jimenez had a hit, a fielder's choice, scored a run. Benzan had 2 base hits and scored a run. Anthony Ropa had a base hit for an RBI. Phelps had a base hit. Soto running for him scored a run. On the other side, Janier Rodriguez drew 2 walks, reached on an error, scored twice. Christian Figueroa had 2 singles, knocked in a run, scored 2. Marciano had a single, a double, scored twice, scored the winning run in the 7th inning. Armani Medina was perfect, 2 walks, a triple, a single, knocked in 2, scored 2. Jacob Peterson had an RBI ground out, and his error scored the winning run. Rowan Merriman had a 2 RBI single, and that was it for West Lynn. So West Lynn will get a second shot at Pine Hill. Pine Hill has to win 1 tomorrow here at Kiley Park. West Lynn will have to beat them twice, but they're alive, and they knock out their counterpart, East Lynn, in extra innings. Good tournament for East Lynn coming out of the losers bracket, trying to get back to the winners bracket, but they come up short. It took extra innings, but West Lynn knocks off East Lynn by a score of 8-7 in 7 innings. We hope you enjoyed it. I'm John Hoffman saying we'll see you next time.